How do you think about sustainability as you forage?
I think it's probably the most underrated and unspoken conversation, specifically with depths. You can see a lot of people talking about the importance of having a relationship with the land, and yet at the same time, we see most herbal companies promoting essential oils, and essential oil companies are not always, but most often perpetuating unsustainable harvest of plants. So I feel that in our society, we have these two different contradicting concepts going on at the same time. One is that it's really important to sustainably harvest the plant. And the other idea is, yeah, it's important to harvest the plant sustainably, but if we're making medicine with it, we can take however much we want. And that latter way of thinking is why so many plants have become nearly outsourced. There's a huge category of plants that are medicinal herbs that we don't no longer promote and use because our ancestors, and even if they're not our ancestors, like people from the America area over-harvested the plant, and now we have very limited quantities. So I think that sustainably harvesting plants is the only way to have a relationship with herbalism, because when you're harvesting plants in the wild and you are returning to that same plant year after year after year, you're going to the same patch. You're saying hi and you're singing to the trees. You're having a relationship. You immediately notice, I harvested from this rosehip patch last year. Have my rosehips returned this year? Have they stayed the same quantity? Have they grown or have they shrunk? So when we actually notice and track the details from year to year, we really see how much the human impact on the land is tangible, right? Every year that I've been harvesting plants wild in Colorado, the places that I'm returning to are growing over time. And that's an indication that the way I'm harvesting it is not only cultivating a relationship, but also further supporting that plant to thrive.
What are the rules on wild foraging in Colorado and maybe throughout the U.S.?
So there's no official rules. That's part of the problem. I mean, there's certain areas that are like public lands or private lands, right, where there's legal laws about where you're allowed to harvest. But the ethics that I've been taught is you never take the first plant that you see. You never take the last plant. And you always strive to take less than 10%. Now, in order to do that, it requires us as human beings to really practice the muscle of opening your eyes and zooming out. It's really easy to see a plant, get excited that you know how to identify it, and just immediately grab. But ethical harvesting requires you to see the plant and actually spend 15, 20, 40 minutes walking that area, walking almost 1 to 3 miles in that area to really see how abundant it is. Now, once you see whether a plant is very abundant, then you can go ahead and harvest. And there's nuance, right? Because some of the medicinal plants that I harvest are invasive to this land. And therefore, some of the medicinal weeds that are also invasive, I feel comfortable taking more than 10% because I'm actually helping the native plants in the area thrive. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Do you market that at all, that you're using invasive plants and how helpful that actually is for the space?
I should.
I think you should.
I think I should market that.
I think that's a really cool narrative.
Yeah. I mean, even today, right now I'm harvesting cleavers. Cleavers tincture, we make a fresh plant tincture for the lymphatic system. And cleavers is totally an invasive plant. And most plants, when I'm harvesting it, I'm really being careful to not take the roots. But specifically with cleavers, because it's invasive, I feel comfortable taking out some of the roots so that the native plants in the area and the trees and the fungi can thrive.
Which plant that you wild harvest would you say you have the deepest relationship with?
It's hard for me to answer that question because the more the plants become your go-to friends, the allies that you rely on for almost every day for different occasions, the more that your relationship with them is really similar to real friends in real life. Like, you might have a best friend, but most adults actually get to a point in their life where they're like, about my work, I want to talk to this person about it. About my sleep, I want to talk to this friend. About my romantic relationship, I want to go to this person. Therefore, depending on what I'm navigating, what I'm struggling with, impacts what I want to work with. I can answer right now which wild medicinal plant I'm loving the most, and it would definitely be Motherwort right now. But if you were to ask me that same question in a day, it'd be something else.
I might text you that tomorrow. What is the spirit of Motherwort? Who is Motherwort? If you were to personify Motherwort, I mean, there's the mother word in there.
Totally. Yeah. When I think of Motherwort, I think of a wild woman, probably in between motherhood and her crone or elder area of time. So that could be, all women enter motherhood at different times, and a lot of women never enter motherhood, right? But let's say on average, she is 50 to 60 years old. By the time a woman arrives to 50 or 60 years old, she's gone through menarche, the initiation into menstruation. She's hypothetically gotten married. She's hypothetically gotten pregnant and birthed a baby. And she's experiencing the next shift of stages of womanhood, which is menopause, right? So I always think of a woman in her 50s or 60s, and she is a woman who walks barefoot, who has so much reverence for the things in our life that require courage. Motherwort is a plant that we really work with when we're needing support, we're needing external courage, we're needing to find that inner love that our mother would have provided to us when we are a little kid. Motherwort gives that to us throughout our life. And motherwort is also deeply a plant of a heart ally. I see my soil under my hands right now. I was harvesting motherwort earlier today, and motherwort is really a phenomenal ally for those of us who have a heartbeat that is irregular, or a heartbeat that as soon as we're feeling nervous or scared or anxious, it's beating fast. Motherwort slows down the heartbeat, grounds us, comes back into our body, and brings us back into courage.
And how do you like to consume it?
So she's really bitter. She's a really bitter tasting plant, a part of the mint family. And so I will harvest the plant when she's flowering. She's one of those medicinal plants that harvesting her when she flowers is the best time to harvest. And I will do a fresh plant herbal elixir. So that means making a tincture and adding raw honey.